Alright guys, so it's Catherine Kurtz again, and this is my STI math lesson. So this is a relatively simple assignment and could be repurposed for a number of different math classrooms depending on what math class or level that the student is at. For this assignment, I'm structuring it for someone teaching a class like statistics. It's intended for high school age students. The goal is to show students the reality of STIs and how much of an issue it is with teens. This is a relatively short assignment and it should take about 1 to 2 hours depending on how in-depth the teacher wants to go. Alright, so this assignment will ask students to make educated guesses about STI statistics in teens. So we're going to have the students make reflections and use critical thinking, and this will give a teacher insight into how the teen perceives the danger of STIs. So if they think that very few teens have STIs, then you can infer that they might think that other teens are having safe sex or that STIs are not very prevalent. And it's just kind of an interesting benchmark to see where your students are at with their sex education knowledge. Alright, so the first step of this assignment is the teacher will have already done some research and have a number of different statistics for a range of STIs such as chlamydia, HIV/AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, HPV, herpes, and genital warts in their possession. The teacher will begin by explaining what the students will do. The teacher will read off different STIs one by one, giving students time in between to make a hypothesis about how many teens are affected by each STI. The teacher can decide what type of graph they want their students to use, but for the intent of my presentation, the students will be using a pie graph, and it should look something like this. So they're going to have a different pie graph for each STI with their guess of what teens are affected and how many teens are not affected. So the next step is that they're going to draw the graph and show how many students they think are affected by each STI. The third step is the teacher will go through each STI after they've created their pie graphs and reveal the real percentage of teens affected using a PowerPoint presentation. The teacher will also give the students information about each STI as they go through the list, such as how deadly the STI is, if it can be cured, how it is transmitted, how it can be prevented, and any other interesting or important facts that the teacher might find. So the next step is the teacher will ask their students to reflect and talk with their peers. They should be talking about things like which STI they guessed correctly, and why, which STI they guessed the most incorrectly and why they thought that, a new thing that they learned, and anything that they found especially interesting. And then the students will be asked to write a short reflection paper for homework outlining their discussion, the things that they learned, and the statistics that surprised them. And that's the assignment. Of course, it can be added to make it a little bit more lengthy, and the teacher can also provide resources at the end of this lesson so that if any students are worried about STIs and want to get tested or want additional knowledge, that they can easily go and find that information. All right, thank you guys.